Joe, what did the farmer give his wife for Valentine's Day?
I don't know.
Hogs and kisses. Hogs and kisses. Do you know the best thing about Valentine's Day?
What?
Oh, there's a chocolate sale the day after.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Carnival Personnel. I'm Jacques.
I'm Joe. It does not take that much to make this house of cards come tumbling down.
Right. I'm going to insert the record scratch. What?
I'm a walking game of Jenga that's gone on longer than anybody expected. Just on the exciting.
You are well past the expiration date on the side of your carton.
I will tell you, first of all, happy Valentine's Day. We didn't talk about it last week. Did you have a nice Valentine's Day?
I got off easy. I bought flowers at the store that morning and then hadn't seen her the rest of the day.
So when management and I started dating or moved in together, there was a skit on SNL, and the whole premise, it was a commercial. It's like, and the first part of it is, you want to tell her you love her, blah, blah, blah. You get a bear with a heart. And it segues into, you can get it at the gas station, get a convenience store, guys. And it progressively went on that it's the least thoughtful gift you can get. So, of course, she wakes up Valentine's Day morning and there might be 20 around the apartment. And it's been we can't find that skit on anywhere online anymore. They have a similar skit where the joke is, presents from CVS that you got that day, but Bear with a Heart has been our thing for absolutely ever.
Right, and I think I remember the commercial. It's set up, and it's in the same tone as like a Diamonds commercial.
Right.
Get her the one thing that she'll love this Valentine's Day, a bear with a heart. And it's the cheesiest gift, but the woman in the skit appreciates it because she just got a pearl necklace or something. Yep. And not that kind.
Can't find that skit, but even though you can't find the skin on that, it's still resonant, so that's what she got, this, a bear with a heart.
You can't find that skit. Nor can you find the skit from Conan O'Brien's Christmas special.
Right. Those things happen. I swear they
unenthusiastic
happen.
Kids choir.
And every time I see a kids choir and stuff like that at like an elementary school, it just harkens back to that.
Okay, it's February. Does it mean that's too early for a Christmas reference or too late for a Christmas reference?
It's me, Joe.
All right.
It's both.
Right.
It's a floor wax.
And it's a dessert topping.
I don't know how I made that reference in the car the other day with the boys, and they're like, "What is? Wait, a cleaning thing?" No, no. They are not the one, especially the younger one, to encourage trying a floor wax and a dessert topping. But my Valentine's Day was pleasantly uneventful. It was nice. Our tradition is the bear with a heart, and I usually spend a good hour sitting on the couch texting everybody in my phone book, Happy VD, the joke that I find funny just as much now as I did in junior high.
Because when you were in junior high, they called it VD.
Did they not call it VD now?
It was the STDs.
Oh, yeah.
See, since AIDS ruined everything, man.
Really
it used to be venereal disease, and then this AIDS had to throw itself into the mix. It's like, wait a second, you can't call yourself a VD. That's our word, said gonorrhea. and then they had to come up with the politically correct STD. And now it's something different. Now it's like not even STDs, like they're sexually acquired diseases or something.
And it's the same thing with, with the rights and stuff like that. It's like every time I'm reading an article, it's like, the LGBT, now it's the LGBTQ, then it was now there's something else.
It's LGBTQIA+. Yeah.
No.
Right.
Can't do, it's like it goes from midget to dwarf, little people. Can't we just stick with like God's punchline? Oh, okay. Either way, but it's like, and it's that Patton Oswalt routine where he's like, who's the worst guy? It's like, the guy in the great three-piece suit, the, conservative Republican, while I respect other people's thought, my values, blah, 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 this and this. And, it talks about, in nice terms, knows the acronyms, knows all that. Or the guy was like, hey, what do I care if the two pole smokers down the street are going at it? It doesn't affect me getting laid by my wife, right?
Right. It's the sentiment on the other guy.
It's that guy. That guy's the good guy.
Right.
Not the other one. And but yeah, so I didn't know it's not VD or STD, and now
now you know.
Now
knowing is half the battle.
Well, either way, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
What Oscars did you watch?
I watched the very end of it, like the last few awards, because I don't think I forgot. I think I forgot it was on, and then I was doing something else, masturbating, and then I was masturbating some more, and then my wife came home, ruined the third masturbation session, had to cut it short, and I decided to watch the Oscars. I saw Joaquin Phoenix's acceptance speech. Okay.
It's one of those things where, yeah, I agree with everything he says, but and I see so many people online like, yeah, from your status, you're talking down to people, and it's turning people off to your cause. Not, I agree with you, but
and his delivery was off, and he's an odd guy. Anyway,
the thing about his brother at the end killed me, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I understood that, and I did, however, like Bong Joon-ho.
Well,
he only knows 6 words of English.
His
and it's "I'm going to get drunk tonight."
His interpreter really blew it.
Right.
And I kept waiting for her to say he would like to take time to thank interpreters for their endless. I mean, that's why I'm not an interpreter.
I read about her. She's actually an aspiring director herself, but she's been traveling with him for the entire press tour, not just the Oscars. So she's been getting a lot of shine lately. So,
good for her.
Yeah, she's, we might be seeing her accepting an Academy Award someday.
When you talk
to a woman,
when you talk about representation on film and how it matters, I mean, I know that's one of the big talking points. The short story of black hair and stuff, which is a big thing. Should we talk about black hair for Black History Month? Because you and I know nothing about this topic at all.
I got lots of black hair.
You do have
all over my awesome body,
and you don't know what to do with it.
Some of it's turning gray, though.
I see, but it's true. It's like management. My wife is the daughter of
your what?
Management. My wife, daughter of a North Korean, refugee, and for her to hear people on the Academy stage speaking Korean, it literally it made her feel amazing. And we don't know anything about the movie, but she's been for a month saying we got to go see it. She really wants to see it because she's like, everyone's raving about it, but the previews show you nothing.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is great. So
I think it's on digital.
Is it out yet?
It's on digital, I think.
So we'll either Redbox it or rent it, or maybe just buy it. But she was so, and I know, like owning the libs kind of thing. I have enjoyed a lot of the meltdown on the other side of people being upset that it won the foreign film. It shouldn't also win the best film.
It's not even foreign film anymore. It's the international. Film award.
But the whole thing is there's some guys who don't have passports or have never left the country who think the Oscars are just that's an American thing.
They took their movies. They took our Oscars.
It's like, okay, so you like Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
You like Schwarzenegger. You seem like somebody who likes Schwarzenegger movies.
So does that mean that a movie filmed in Canada can win the International Film Award now?
Or as I like to call it, Montana North. But I did. Joker won a bunch of stuff. The best actor, which is interesting. And I don't know how many times has the Oscar been won for playing the same character.
Right. I think maybe just twice for the Joker. And I think Jack Nicholson was nominated.
Right. But if somebody has won it for like playing...
Oh, like Winston Churchill or something like that. Right. Or Abraham Lincoln. Yeah. I wonder what that is. But I can't imagine that there was a time where 3 actors won the Academy Award for Best Actor for playing the same character, like Hitler. Hey!
So...
Right. That's our Hitler.
Jared Leto shouldn't reprise his Joker and try to go for an Oscar, hat trick.
Speaking of, real quick, I guess, speaking of Joker and all that stuff, and in that universe, have you seen Birds of Prey yet?
I have not. I'm going, because again, the little guy's school woes have kept me from doing anything.
I heard that they're now advertising it differently because the official name of the movie is Birds of Prey or the Emancipation... the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Miss Harley Quinn. It's like some really fucked up title. And it got, I guess, poor box office receipts the first weekend, or it underperformed. So now they're, I guess, advertising it as Harley Quinn: Birds of Prey. Like, hey, this is a Harley Quinn movie,
which
kids.
I don't know why they didn't.
Yeah.
It's like Margot Robbie is it.
Yeah, like she's
the biggest name.
Like, aside from maybe Tara Strong, who does the voice of Harley Quinn. Well, the new voice of Harley Quinn.
Sorkin,
yeah, Arlene Sorkin was the original. But like now, she's the definitive Harley Quinn on film, at least.
I mean, everybody
in like, you know, real life.
I mean, I really like Suicide Squad, but some people didn't, and yeah, I think they should have done another Suicide Squad and kept Will Smith, Amanda Waller, and Margot Robbie. The rest was interchangeable. You know, none of the other characters are like, you know, A-list bad guy, you know, super villains in that world. But yeah, she was great in that. So I don't know why they didn't brand it as Harley Quinn's Birds of Prey or something like that. But
yeah, or just put her name at they put her name at the end of like a 17-word title.
The one of the things about the Oscars that kind of not. Look, I really don't get upset about the Oscars, who wins or who loses. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I like this guy. I'm glad this won. But I, you know, haven't gone to Twitter to have some rage meltdowns. But I will say, and we've talked about it too many times, all the DC people who are gloating that Marvel got shut out, you know, of the major awards and stuff like that. It's like, you know, yeah, we make better movies. And, you know, this is the second, you know, it's like, dude, just shut the fuck up. And the same thing when Marvel fans are like ecstatic that Harley Quinn, you know, that Birds of Prey hasn't done well, and it's like
Suicide Squad kind of bombed or whatever.
You know, but again, it's one of those things. You go back and look at the box office numbers.
Okay, they didn't bomb. I get it.
No. Captain America, the first Avenger, did like 300,000 or 300 million.
Yeah.
I want to say that like out of the first up until Avengers, not everything was a hit. You know, Iron Man was, Iron Man 2 was, the Hulk definitely wasn't. But it was one of those things where Marvel had a game plan and they stuck to it. And then after the Avengers movie, everything did really great. Where you know, with DC, it didn't make $1 billion. Well, let's scrap it and redo it again and come off focus. Let's have the third Batman inside a 10-year period of time type thing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like, no, even if these movies don't, you know, make $1 billion, but if the last 10 Marvel movies made $1 billion, Marvel fans mock that Birds of Prey or that, you know, doesn't do those numbers. It's just so stupid. But I will say, I really believe, and this is just my opinion, which is our podcast, so I can't have that. Fuck Martin Scorsese. I really believe, because who votes on the Oscars? You know, film geeks who worship at the feet of Martin Scorsese. And the same people, you know, so when he goes on that rant about that's not real cinematography, that's not real filmmaking, and then goes, and as we talked, you know, The Irishman, you know, whether it's a good or bad movie, it's the same kind of movie he always makes with the exact same actors he always makes. So where are you getting off? But I really believe that's why Endgame got shut out. Robert Downey Jr. was amazing. I mean, if you take away, you know, don't take away anything. I mean, that performance was really great. And I just, you know,
I mean, I can't say that Robert Downey Jr. in Avengers Endgame was Oscar worthy. I mean, that was, you know, he was in there for not a long period of time, and he was, I don't know, just doing Robert Downey Jr. doing Iron Man. It was like more of the same. It wasn't bad.
No, I get it, but I really think a lot of the other things that they didn't get for the awards, I think, honestly, Martin Scorsese, you know, shitting on that Marvel universe did not help their cause when it comes to voting.
I mean, and honestly, I don't even know, you know, these studios have to put their product out for consideration. I mean, maybe for the visual effects and stuff, Marvel did that for Endgame, but for anything else, I don't think do you think they put Robert Downey Jr. for your consideration?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Oh, I know so, yeah.
Oh.
But
yeah, whatever. I guess if they got the money to do it. It's all about marketing, and you're right, politics. But, you know, whatever.
So I did did you see when they had the woman from Frozen sing Into the Wind, the song from it?
No.
So it was really great. The guy who plays Olaf came out and he introduced it. It has been sung, or it's been redone in 45 different languages, and they had maybe 20 different Elsas from around the world come out and sing the Frozen like in their language. Go back and look at it. I don't know if it was a mandate, but every voiceover actress who sang the part of Elsa around the world, gorgeous. Like, it is crazy. It's like, okay, I didn't know a Polish woman could look that gorgeous, or Lithuanian. I mean,
but don't forget that these people are performers. Like,
crazy
these are theater people.
They are, but I mean, like, you usually expect your world, your actresses to, nowadays you can't, like, Sally Fields wouldn't be a leading actress today, she wouldn't, I mean, it's not unattractive, but she's not, like, I find her more attractive than most people today, but it was like, it was stunning. And I really liked that Eminem came and,
I guess.
And nobody knew,
Yeah, but I think there were people like, why is he performing at the Oscars? Is it, he won an Oscar 17 years ago and didn't perform then. But I guess it was like a deal that they wanted. That I don't know. It was not communicated well.
And it was. I'm glad that he did it. But it was the bleeping out. They just did straight on audio drops for like a second before or after. Maybe not on the West Coast if it was in real time or whatever, or here. I don't know how, but it was
simulcast.
It was butchered pretty good.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're doing a live delay, it's pretty bad.
But yeah, I'm done with the Oscars. So we've talked back and forth a couple weeks. It now looks like my military tour is going to be on.
Well, how about that?
And true, and we've talked about it. It's like, in a very small way, it's like to walk in the footsteps of a Bob Hope. I'm going to be awful. We know that going in. I think everybody, I feel bad because these poor deployed people in Kuwait have it hard enough that I'm going to come out there and expose them to this brand of talking, not comedy. I don't even dignify of saying comedy, but I did. Like AJ Price cannot go. Price is Right can't go at the last minute. I'm so bummed. So I'm like, well, I got a space to bring somebody, and I did. I reached out to you, my friend.
I said no.
And you said, did you say no? Did you say, I hate the troops, fuck them, fuck America, fuck God, and I always. Do you ever see the movie The Brothers McMullen?
No.
It was one of these $25,000 indie films that blew up. That was really good about three brothers, and we can do a sideshow on that, but it's fuck God, it's a big line in that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
I just said no because I didn't want to go to the Middle East.
Sorry. Have you
drop everything?
You
I know
haven't
you have a family
seen
to support.
those malls? Yeah, dude, it's a whopping $175 a day, and you get to stay on the base in Qatar.
Hey, you like flying for 25 hours in the straight?
It's 17.
Oh, okay.
It's only 17.
No, but I'm counting the 6-hour layover.
No.
Whatever it is.
They used to have those, but you can fly direct now. Like, when we started flying, to Qatar in 2014, you had to fly to Dubai. It's a 40-minute flight, half-hour flight from Dubai to Qatar, but it always had like a 6-hour layover. But anyway, so
maybe when the troops visit us,
right? What have they done for us lately?
See what you did. See what you did.
But I am very much looking forward to it. Again, 2 weeks ago it was on. Last week it was off. This week is on. But this week, I mean, the miles of paperwork that I had to sign and treatments and signatures and all this stuff. But I am. My friend Ramon is going to. You've met my friend Ramon.
Yep.
He will be going.
Right.
He will be going because I didn't need an extra set of hands, for this, and I'm like, okay.
You need a roadie.
I do. I do. And I'm like, the list of people that I would want to be around and want to bring with my buddy Bill, it's like, it's got to be somebody who's not going to annoy this guy because we want him to do more. So that means that Joe and I have a lot of homework the next few weeks getting ready to polish this turd of material that I'm going to subject these poor deployed soldiers to.
Right.
You think they got PSD before? Let's see. Other things that I was thinking about that I put on the rundown this week, and we've talked about it before. But every time something like this happens, watching TV the other day, and it's a cruise line. Which cruise
Norwegian.
line? Celebrity cruise line.
Okay.
It's pumping up this kid-friendly and all these family things to do on the cruise as the audio from Jefferson Airplane's White Rabbit is playing, which is 100. It's all about dropping acid. Oh. The entire thing is about dropping acid and chasing the white rabbit down the hole, down the hole.
Well, Carnival Cruise Line had Lust for Life.
But that's the other thing, right? Carnival had Lust for Life, and then, and I was going to segue to this after, but the Sklar brothers have a great routine about what went on at the ad agency when they got the job to find the perfect music bed for Kentucky Fried Chicken and how they landed on Sweet Home Alabama. But yeah, and I was talking to management about that. I'm like, yeah, I can't believe Iggy Pop's Lust for Life, all about life on heroin, the White Rabbit, all about LSD. And she's like, yeah, what about the trailer for the Disney movie? And this came out like 20 years ago for Tigger, the Disney movie. I'm like, what about it? And it's still on YouTube. They haven't changed it, or somebody has an old copy of it. It's Third Eye Blind song, because I wrote it down because I wasn't going to remember. Semi-Charmed.
Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. Yeah.
It's all about doing, and it's not coded or metaphorically about doing crystal meth. He talks about doing crystal meth. That's what the whole song is about.
But they don't put the crystal meth words in the trailer.
They don't. That is true.
They just took some of the nicer parts.
They just took the
it's a hooky jingle.
It's a hooky jingle.
Yeah.
All about crystal meth.
What do you want? Jimmy Stewart hated black people.
Did he really?
Look it up. I don't know if he hated. Well, but look it up.
Yeah, I hate to the level that John Wayne did.
No.
Okay, because few people hate it. I don't know. John Wayne didn't hate black people. He just 100% thought they were an inferior species and went well out of his way in a really famous, 71, 72, Playboy, interview. Yeah. And it's just okay. Yeah, I love myself some racist.
He laid it out there as if it were a known fact.
Right. You know how, and it's no. And it's a lot of the stuff he said, it's these are whatever, It's he's not black people can't swim. It's I think he made some shit up that even the people at the Klan, it's ooh, I didn't know that.
I think Al Campanis read that interview.
He had it laminated. The Sklar brothers.
Yeah.
You're a fan of them.
I'm not a non-fan of them. I know of them. They were on a Disney show.
Were they?
I think they
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
I know the show.
It was
there was a secret porthole in their
porthole.
Yeah, they had a comic book store where the door in the back of the comic book shop led to another dimension.
Was it the Wizards of Waverly Place or one of those types of shows?
A kid would go to this other dimension where he was a superhero, and that dimension they were trying to find him.
It wasn't Harvey Danger or something like that. That's a Nickelodeon
No, that's
show.
a Nickelodeon. But I like the Sklar brothers. Yeah. I like their delivery. When I see them, it's I've not gone and paid to see them, but when I hear them on the thing, I really like them. Identical twins. There was a great story about them on This American Life. Their mother used different color safety pins to tell them apart. Took them in for a wellness check. And I can't fathom this. I was because of things like this, when our kids were born, they would never came popping on out, and when they were brought to be washed up, my wife is I'm done. If I die on this table, fine, but you don't leave his side, type thing. But the nurse came out all excited because they have these new disposable diapers that she put them in.
Oh.
She couldn't tell them apart. And she lost it, and her husband couldn't tell them apart. And she had her best friend come over, and his best friend is if you can't tell them apart, I can't. So she's fine. This is this one. This is this one.
So to this day, they don't know who's who.
And when they were 14 years old, they heard the phone call, she was talking about it, and it really fucked them up. Because one of them is 2 hours older than the other, but it's just, it could be me. It literally bothered them forever. And, years later, Dad passed away. They're cleaning out an attic, and they couldn't find anything. They found footprints they had when they were infants that they took to a specialist, and they were able to figure it out.
To match with their current
toe
prints. Wow.
So dad, passed away never really knowing, and mom finally, and they got their answers. You know what I mean? But it was like,
that's fucked up.
That is fucked up.
Isn't that kind of that's why you print. You do take footprints of Hey. Now I'm surprised they don't do DNA. Do they do DNA stuff now?
They might now. I mean, but it's like I'm going to have to ask my brother how he tells his apart. See, one's a boy and one's a girl.
Oh, see, you got to explain that to the people
my
who
brother
don't
has
know.
twins, and everybody knows. Dice were loaded. Everybody knows. All right. The big debate's going on because you see the clip. There was a guy on a flight this week who got the back of the plane, the very last row.
A black guy.
No.
Oh, okay.
I almost said Rosa Parks seat, but I didn't. I'm woke
because of Black History Month.
Because of Black History Month. And the woman in front, so his doesn't recline. The woman's in front reclined her seat, and he relentlessly punched the back of the seat, not like once or twice, for the entire time. And she even filmed it. And now it's this whole thing. It's like, remember a couple years ago, they started selling those braces to keep the seat from in front of you from reclining, and the airlines ended up having to intervene and pass a law saying you couldn't bring those on and keep people from reclining.
Yep.
You don't fly a lot, but do you weigh in? Do you think it's a debate? Because I don't think it's a debate.
It's not a debate. I've formed my opinion thanks to the many other opinions I've read on Twitter this week. Because going into it, I was like, whatever. They're both kind of assholes. But now that I've had some time to digest it, they're both kind of assholes. Only because, she's filming him punching his seat, but he's an idiot and an asshole for punching her seat in the first place because her seat reclined. Sorry, man, you're in the bitch seat. You're in the back of the bus.
It's not her fault.
Yeah, and there's this term that parents use with their children called "use your words." Talk to the person in front of you and say, "Hey, do you mind not reclining so far back because it's like pushing right up against me?" She might have been like, "Okay, I'm sorry, no worries." Because whenever if you encounter something like that, like even during like road rage or anything like that, in the moment, you're not thinking that the other person is a person. You're thinking the other person, must be the new Hitler. There's the new Hitler, and it's my job, because they cut me off, it's my job to take them out before they harm other people. And I'm always in the right because they were obviously in the wrong. But if you talk to them, if you were to ever confront people, like the people online who blast each other anonymously on Twitter and social media, if people acted like that in real life,
right,
that we wouldn't be a society. So we can't carry that into real life. We have to be more communicative. This coming from the least communicative person you'll ever listen to. And you're listening to me on a podcast that I've had for 2.5 years. So with that being said, there's no debate. I think it's also shitty that the Delta CEO said that the person who's in the reclining seat should ask permission to recline prior to doing so. And it's like, wait a minute, you're packing people in like it's like a Japanese subway car.
Pushers.
Yeah,
we've talked about this. The pushers.
Yeah, the people who are designated in Japan to push people and cram them into subway cars. We're almost at that point with airline flight. I haven't been on an airplane since 2013 when I went on Wheel of Fortune. 2012. 2013 when I went to Ireland. And I'm glad I'm not a frequent flyer because it kind of sucks. Although when I went to Ireland, it wasn't that bad. We weren't packed in like.
I'm a bigger guy, and I will tell you, it's like, the seats. I'm getting bigger at the same time. Seats are getting smaller. Like more and more airlines are now, making it so the middle row is 4 seats. And just to get that one extra seat, per row per 40 rows and stuff.
Have you heard about the overhead seats? Those are. You looked at me like. Are you serious?
The
overhead compartment's gone.
Well, yeah, that whole thing, and yeah, there's lots. I'm telling you now, when I fly, the 17-hour flight coming up, I'm reclining my seat at one point. I will let the person know behind me, hey, I'm going to recline my seat. But
Right.
And if I get the back of the plane for 17 hours, I might punch somebody, but it won't be the person sitting in front of me. It's not their fault I got stuck back there.
Yeah, and then you wonder why I don't want to fly with you.
I did tell like the military people, I'm so excited about doing this with my buddy Bill, and our friend Ramon's going, but I am not going to sit together. Like, we'll be together for a week. I don't need 17. I'd rather have a complete stranger next to me that I don't feel compelled to have any communication with,
Right.
I'm also looking forward to, I like the long flights. I will watch 3 or 4 movies that I haven't got a chance to watch. I mean,
Load up the iPad.
The in-flight movies are usually pretty great.
Oh, okay.
It's really current stuff.
Yeah.
So
I remember. Yeah.
everything that I want to see out now. Like, I might not see Birds of Prey before I get on the flight, and it might be edited a little bit, but not enough where I'll be like, offended and not or. But anyway, so yes. But the whole thing is, I will be putting my seat back and during part of the flight. But I will ask the person,
But are you flying like a kind of an economy type flight, or is it more?
It's the military. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm in cargo holds. I'm hopefully
You're in a cage.
literally flying economy on an airline like Qatar Airways or a Lufthansa or Emirates. It's business class.
Yeah.
Anywhere else, it really is.
Yeah, you see those commercials for United Arab Emirates or Emirates Airlines, and it's just like, it's like the cream of the crop. Like, they make it look like every seat is first class.
It is. So the first time we fly over, management and the boys are being flown by the family. I didn't think I was going to be able to get to go, and at literally the day before, my schedule cleared up, and I just jumped on. And I paid for my seat myself and sat in economy. I came back a week later, and I flew. I had a NFL thing with the Dolphins, so I flew economy to and from, to Dubai to Qatar. The food was awesome. I mean, literally, the food was awesome. I had never flown an airline like that. I just didn't know. Week later, I'm flying from Los Angeles to Miami, first class on United.
$50 for a box of Pringles.
Literally, it was first class. So it was all that. You didn't have that nickel and diming and shit. But truly, the food, the staff, like all that stuff, that 4.5-hour flight was worse than the 17. It was literally, I was blown away. On the other hand, management and the boys were flying business class. Yeah. Big mistake. You fly in a living room. Like, you get up and they come and they put the bed down and
There's
they
a
put
pool table.
a little mattress on your bed. It extends to a 72 foot, like for a 6 foot tall person.
Yeah.
To be able to lay completely horizontal.
Is it like the bed in Austin Powers plan?
Yes. Yes, I think it has that the whole thing.
Do I make you horny, baby? Do I?
The flower petals all around it. Yeah, the whole 9 yards. And I remember telling him very, very clearly, the 4 and 6-year-old that I had at the time, don't get used to this. When Papa's paying for your flight. Again, the jump seat, downstairs. But that's a big. Let's see. There was anything else? We don't have to talk about the war and getting screwed. I will say, when Joe came over, you want to tell the people about the gifts of love that I showered you with for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, he showered the people, me, with lovely love in the form of toys, which I like, because if you've seen pictures of my sad basement, or otherwise known as the Luseum, I have a bunch of shit in there that normally people would just throw away. I've rounded them up and categorized them, organized them onto shelves, and then I ignore them for the most of the winter because it's fucking cold down there. But one of the things that Jacques bought for me at a flea market was this little Millennium Falcon toy that fits in the palm of your hand, and you open up the top, and it reveals a LCD handheld game from 1997 where you're flying the Millennium Falcon. You know, like those things where if you grew up in the 80s or in the 90s and your mom couldn't or wouldn't get you a Game Boy, but you got the next best thing. It's like, all right, well, here's the new Double Dragon game. Oh, awesome. Well, it looks like this, and it's like 4 frames of a guy that
magic.
4 frames of a guy that looks like he's punching another guy, but you're not quite sure. And those types of games, the beep boop games. You know what an LCD game is? Those Tiger Electronics games. Well, this is, I think, is this on Tiger Electronics? Maybe. I can't tell. My eyes aren't so good, but it has I'll turn it on and it makes a sound. See, well, listen.
Yeah, I was very surprised it was in working condition.
Yeah, and
I thought it was just cool because it's Millennium Falcon and it
right
paperweight.
This is going to go right on my shelf next to my other Star Wars stuff that I'll never touch. And then the other thing that he got from me was the DVD home game version of Family Feud, starring Richard Karn.
and for those people who might not know Richard Karn's resume off the top of your head, he is best known for...
He's Al from Home Improvement.
The sidekick.
Yeah, he was Tim Taylor's sidekick on Tool Time. And, he came off the heels of Louis Anderson. Louis Anderson was kind of, he's a funny guy, but, kind of a gruff personality, but not too much. He had that voice and yeah. And they left the show and they brought in Richard Karn. And I was a fan of game shows back then, as I am now. And when that happened, I was like, Richard Karn. Okay, yeah, I guess. Let's see how it goes. And, Richard Karn as a game show host.
How long he lasts? A season?
Maybe 2. But a lot of his interactions were, name something that's red. A rose. And then he would just sort of like, let's see rose.
A little condescending.
Or just like there's no personality there. He's just like, all right, let's see rose. No banter. And it's like, Richard Dawson was the end-all, be-all of Family Feud.
Speaking of ED.
Seriously. But he took it over the top. Like, he made it more about himself than the game sometimes. And it was a little, it was fine for the time. But Richard Karn is the anti-Richard Dawson. If you spell Karn backwards, what do you get?
Boring.
Narc. I was going to go for narc, but didn't work out. Anyway, but it's fine. I love the ridiculous size. If you open the box, it's basically like, it's all plastic. It's just like a plastic shell casing that houses a DVD case, but it's one of those double DVD cases. Like, oh my God, like one of those things you get on like a multi-disc like platform. What am I talking about? Like a video game that has multiple discs, and it's like, instead of the DVD case, it's like twice.
Right.
You open it up, one disc.
Yeah, that's it.
Sliver of paper.
Now, they say you can't buy love, but if my love was represented in buying this game, how much did I spend on you?
I think $2.50.
No, it was like on the 50% off bid.
Oh, good.
Literally, the little guy wanted me to buy him the Star Wars, like almost a Trader Joe's type bag. That cost more than that I put in it. And when Joe got here, I was giddy because he'd been sitting on the coffee table for a week because we got him the day after we did the podcast. And as I was explaining to Joe's, oldest son, who's my kid's piano teacher, I'm like, your dad is the easiest person in the world to shop for because I just buy stuff for me. And luckily, he has the same losabilities that I do. And when I don't want stuff, I like to buy the stuff and I want to know where it is and access to it. I just don't want it here.
I like to call them senseless abilities.
So I'm like, oh, yeah. And my little guy showed me the Falcon, and it was a game. I'm like, yeah, I'll get that. And it was one of those things. It's like, well, it could be a collector's item, or it could just be what it is. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to pay like $40, $50 for this thing. And then when it turned out, I'm like, oh, I'll pay at least $20 for it, and it was worth the $3.
Right.
I'm like,
oh God, yes.
Yeah. I mean, even if it was nothing but a paperweight, that's the Falcon. It would have been
a convertible Millennium Falcon at any price.
But again, like I said, I'm happy. I do want to give a shout out before we move on.
I do also want to say, oh, thank you.
As our friend John says, it only matters if it's front page above the fold. So my sister's big chocolate festival that I did not know that she created at her, yes, I have a church-going sister. We're trying to even the scales cosmically, family-wise. And
you are the yin to her Andrew Yang.
Math, baby, math. But she was on the front page of the Wilmington Town Crier this week, celebrating her group's achievement at their successful fundraising chocolate festival last week.
Congratulations.
Yes. My sister was like, she sent me a picture. She goes, you want a copy? I'm like, get me two. And she's like, she was laughing. I'm like, no, really? That's the kind of thing I'll throw in a box. You know what I mean? And
do they sell 2 newspapers nowadays?
You know what? I'm going to have to take it and have it Xeroxed.
Xeroxed. I'm going to have it dittoed.
Mimeographed.
Yeah.
All right. Quickly, we're going to, because I don't want to do this too much. We are beyond fucked. The whole thing in This Week in Awful is the William Barr stuff. And intervening on the Richard Stone thing, and then trying to say, oh, there's no collusion with the president. And it's like, well, the fact that Barr went on TV and rebuked the president in any way and wasn't immediately eviscerated lets you know.
Right, there was an inside job.
It's like, yeah, we're all pretty stupid.
And by the way, whenever you see Bill Barr talking and you look at him, how does Patton Oswalt not play him on Saturday Night Live?
Wow.
I mean,
wow. Now I won't be able to not see Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. Just put some glasses on him, and maybe because he lives on the West Coast and he has a soul. Maybe that's
no. That could be it. No, but the absolute evisceration of the checks and balances, the different branches of government, because it's 100% corrupted. It's like there is no separation between the Senate and the White House. There is no separation now between the justice. I mean, they're going after judges, like, openly.
And now that the impeachment, he was acquitted from the impeachment, he's emboldened to do whatever 100%, the fuck.
Right.
Whatever. He's like, I'm invincible. I'm untouchable, fuckers.
And he is.
Yeah. He's shaking down Cuomo for lowering taxes in New York, and it's on Twitter.
Yeah. We talked about last week that the whole thing with Barr saying that all investigations have to go through him now. That you cannot investigate the Trumps at all. He's even forcing like the federal bureau. Oh, not the federal bureau, but the Southern District of New York to drop certain things. It's just awful.
Yep.
A few weeks ago,
4 more years.
Our good friend All-Star Tommy. We were talking back and forth, and he's like, he understands that truly all that stuff doesn't affect our day-to-day life, and that we're getting enraged about things that don't affect our day-to-day life. I'm not in a federal case. The Roger Stone getting pardoned or it doesn't affect anything I do in my life. But this now does hit home. So 3 years ago, I had a niece who was 17 who was turning 18 before the election. Big Bernie fan. Her and my sister drove up to Vermont because she wanted to go to the headquarters and, buy bumper sticker and stuff like that. My mother was telling my daughter, telling her daughter, my sister, and telling my sister she's getting too involved. She's too young for this. She shouldn't be getting involved in politics like this. And she even told my niece that. And my sister was like, and I was, hey, she's going to be voting this year. This is exactly what you should be doing. Well, she's just getting too involved. Okay. Old woman, whatever. Different sensibilities. But this week, that same woman and my dad and my brother and my sister-in-law took their 14-year-old Trump-loving son to the rally up in New Hampshire last week. So
Goodbye, everybody.
So it does hit home because a couple years ago at Thanksgiving, a good friend of mine, no names mentioned, we'll call him Joe, was saying, okay, do you really want your relationship with your family ruined by this guy? Like, we had just moved back. It was a bad time for me. It's a bad time for everybody. A lot of people. Good time for some. It really was divisive. Like, I didn't want to go to my parents' house. Like, not that they talked about it or have posters up, but it just upset me so much. This does affect my day-to-day life now. And like I was talking to my sister and I was talking to my niece. Is it because the question internally, or the question between us, is it okay for my 14-year-old, nephew to go to a Trump rally because he's a boy and boys can be involved in politics younger, in my mom's opinion, or is it because he's choosing the right team? Like, would she have been okay if my niece was 17, and in wanting to go to a Trump thing, or should girls not? You know what I mean? It's like,
so you're not sure if it's a boy-girl thing or if it's a left-right thing.
Right. And either way, it's awful.
What if, right, like if your niece were a Trump supporter at age 17, would your mother think, oh, that's great! Right. Here, let me warm up the car!
Seriously. And so these things do hit home. And the funny thing is, I think my family might be the perfect bad skit, bad Norman Rockwell thing. So I'm one of 3 siblings. I'm married to the daughter of a North Korean refugee. My sister's married to a Colombian immigrant. I don't know if my brother and sister-in-law have passports. My brother has left the country to go to a resort in Jamaica, maybe once. I know he's gone to like a resort in Mexico once. But honestly, it's one of those things. And it's not that I'm a better person or anything like this, but like, I don't know if he can name 3 world leaders other than Putin and Kim Jong-un, because, all that, same thing with my sister-in-law. Again, it's not that I'm better or my feelings be more important or I love my kids more or less, but it's just funny that the all-white family, will go to that, with my all-white mom and dad, and screw the other, 4 grandkids who are direct relation from immigration.
You think your mother bears some resentment towards your sister and you for not marrying inside the race? That's a deep question. That's pretty heavy, man. I don't know.
It very often, my brother-in-law and my wife wind up side by side at the Christmas parties, at the Thanksgiving, at the family functions, feeling kind of like, let's take a family photo. Here, take the picture for us. And thrusting the camera towards my wife or my brother-in-law, type thing. No, and it's one of those things like, again, when my mom would get all Fox News'd up and be upset and saying, there's too many here. We should be sending people back. And I play along and say, you are 100% right. Do we start with, my brother-in-law, or do we start with my mom-in-law? But you know what? If we're going to send them back, those half-breeds have to go with them. So I'll go pack my kid stuff. You go get...
that's not what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, you mean other people's brown friends and families and, and Asians and.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough question. I mean, from my father, God rest his soul, probably didn't like black people as much as he liked white people. That said, he himself was an immigrant to this country. Direct immigrant, like he wasn't an he's an immigrant to the country, naturalized and all that shit. So, but I wonder like how he would. I'm not quite sure how he fell on the political spectrum. He was kind of apolitical, at least around me. But I can imagine that your mother and your father are probably a little bit racist.
My Well, okay. So it's always a tough question tough conversation.
And you know what? I think you're a little bit racist.
A little?
Yeah.
I got to up my game.
Yeah. I think I'm a little bit racist. I think they made a song about that.
Those fucking Belgians. Like, I've had it up to here. No, it is. Everybody has some sort of
Prejudice.
Right. Thank you. And like I said, it's like, that's one of the jokes, I've been trying to like workshop with Joe. Like, when I'm like, it's great. I love.
Let's workshop it on the air.
Let's workshop it on the air. I was trying to work out this thing where like, I love when stereotypes manifest themselves in real life. For my family, and it's true. My Colombian brother-in-law owns a landscaping company. My Korean mom-in-law owned a dry cleaners. My wife is a whore. No, I think that's where the joke is going. But, it's like my mom's Irish. Look at my watch. I don't wear a watch, but I pretend to look at a watch and then say, she's drinking. Fun fact, she's probably drinking. No, it's one of those things. My mom would tell you how her father was a racist, and he was. And by her father's racist, awful things that he says, she doesn't say the quiet part out loud like my grandfather did, but she feels the quiet part. She
feels the quiet part quiet.
Right. It's like, all that stuff. So yes, so there is part of that. And also it's true. It's my parents were Democrats until two events. The black guy moved into the White House. So really, who's the bad guy there?
Right. It says right on the
front
door.
Sure. I don't care that the slaves built the first White House. It's still, but then they're home. They're retired. The Fox News is on, and I literally mean that.
And One America News.
They watch both sides. But it's upsetting, and it's like when I was talking to Tommy, and he was like, "Yeah, I get upset about these things too, but it doesn't affect my day-to-day life, anyway, one way or another, but it is upsetting. But when this actually happens, when your family gets divided,
I think people are fooling themselves when they say this stuff doesn't affect your day-to-day life. It's a coping mechanism for people who who want to put on the blinders. You're white. You're most likely going to be okay because you're white and you live in America and you have more opportunities than somebody who's not white. The end.
Yeah.
You can walk into a store and not be, tracked by the employees because people are going to think you're stealing. You can apply for a job and not be put onto some sort of unspoken, questionable list of candidates.
I mean, the thing is, and it's one of those things where, if I had a conversation, my brother's always been apolitical too. I think he's not so much a supporter as much as he likes his son is a really smart kid. He's well-spoken. My nephew is a very smart kid. And he has a passion about this, and I think my brother's more supporting it. Although I think him and his wife lean that way. It's one of those things where, he's more, apolitical.
And that's a scary thing because, to have a 14-year-old who's smart, probably upwardly mobile, like he's not going to be
right.
But he's not going to be some, slack-jawed yokel. He's going to be probably an influential adult.
And my brother's one of those people, though, with all that said, smart guy himself, who I haven't had this conversation with him, but I'm willing to bet would be, quote unquote, triggered by the term white privilege. Because he has not had an easy life. Same upbringing I did, poor, all this stuff. Everything he's made in his life, he's earned. He's one of the hardest working people I know. Literally, he doesn't drink that much anymore. But, up until his late 30s, he's one of those guys who could go drinking till 1, 2 in the morning and be at the job site ready to go at 5:30. Maybe not the best idea, but he's worked his ass off his whole life. Nothing has been handed to him. That said,
he's in an environment where he doesn't have to be swimming upstream,
right,
for everything,
right.
Like he can, he can go out drinking and not get pulled over.
I literally, I could go. The shoplifting, it's funny because, we've joked about this before, I've heard comedians talk about, the stores that have on the shopping carts, the rack on the bottom, like, hey, if they don't see it there, it's yours type thing. Or I've joked, it's like, those self-checkout lines, they're asking you to steal. They are asking, look at me, look up the word honor system, I'm not next to that picture. But it's like one of those things. It's like I could go in there every single time and steal something. And if I get caught, it's like, oh, it's an honest mistake. Sorry, I didn't know this. Like, I get pulled over. I don't do drugs, but I would, if I was a high school kid or when I was in college, if I ever did drugs and I got pulled over and had like an ounce of weed, at the most, it's going to get dumped out. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm never going to, and that's the thing. I understand 100%, you know, when we talked about a couple weeks ago, you know, when a cop came to talk to me at a car and I was on my headphones and I was at the boys like theater, it's in a sketchy part of a town and cops just making his round. I'm just sitting there. It's like, you know, what are you doing sitting here? And I'm like, I thought this was a perfect place to, you know, pick up a hooker and get some blow. And I was on the phone with a friend of mine and the cop's like, excuse me. And I said, you know, just joking. My boys are in the theater. Yeah. I can say that.
Right.
I can actually get out of the car and say, I'm fucking waiting for my kids to come out of theater group. Why the fuck are you hassling me? And you know what's going to happen? Probably going to say, hey, okay, sorry. You know, and go on his way. Maybe tell him, I'm not going to get. Nothing's going to happen.
Uh-huh.
Nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the thing. It's like, you know, I've been.
You love making bomb threats at the ticket counter at the airport. Has anybody else packed your suitcase in the last 24 hours? Yeah, well, you know, I told my wife to, but, you know, she wouldn't listen. I don't know about these two little fuckers. They might have planted something in there. Right?
You know, it's like,
sometimes the truth hurts.
That's we know that also hits. So anyways, we're going to move off this week of awful, but yeah, it does hit home. And it's like, and I will tell you this, that the same part, my parents didn't tell me. It's one of those things, like they don't want to, they're not proud Trump supporters. You know what I mean? They don't have a yard sign out on their lawn and they don't, you know,
because they don't have to.
Yeah, they don't have to, you know, and it's, you know, enough of that. Okay.
We're at the getting long mark.
I have put self-indulgent theater of you because I was going down my list of the voices. You haven't done Adam Sandler in a while. Do you think Uncut Gems? That's one of the movies I'll probably watch on the plane.
Right.
I kind of wanted to see it. Do you think he got stiffed by the Oscars based on what you had heard going into it? Because it had a lot of buzz.
Yeah, from what I've heard, I think people who are in the know kind of looked at it as kind of a snub. But you know, whatever. I mean, yeah, I think Adam Sandler still has that stigma attached to him of the shabadoo. But he's outgrown that. He's an actual, like, legitimate actor.
I haven't seen it, but people said, this will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like, because they all do it. Jim Carrey tried. You know, you go down the list of the people who went for the...
Well, Robin Williams.
Right. And he won.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, Dead Poet Society. Right out of the park.
Dead Poet Society? He got it for Good Will Hunting.
Okay. Yeah, well, okay.
I don't know if he got it for...
I think. I don't know.
He might have got it for got something for that. But,
yeah.
But the same thing. So, yeah, but I'm looking forward to... That was one of those ones I wanted to see, but... You know, just
yeah. I mean, there's just too much to do. I mean, you only have so much money and time.
It's really the time thing with the little dream squashers. You know, what I mean,
yeah.
It's scheduling around. I didn't know if you wanted to maybe read the Oscar winners as Adam Sandler.
Sure,
you know,
whatever.
where he got snubbed. At least we can give our Oscar nod to Adam Sandler via you reading off. Just, you know, you don't have to go into the technical ones, but just the main ones, or if you wanted to. I thought that'd be fun for the kids.
Let's see here. Okay. Let's see. The winner for Best Director is Bong Joon-ho. Whoopie-doo! And let's see, you got your Best Supporting Actress. You got your Laura Dern. Dern Tootin'. These are things that Adam Sandler would never say in any character voice.
I don't know. Yes, he would.
All right, let's see. Best Actress winner, Renee Zellweger.
See? This is why I love you.
All right.
You win. That was perfect.
Right, see? You know? Broken clock. Let's see. Best Supporting Actor, Brad Pitt. I don't know. That's not even a voice. Best Actor, Joaquin Phoenix. And the winner for Best Picture goes to A Parasite. Best Picture winner is a beginner, and I don't know how to rhyme a word with parasite. The end.
Your opera man was great because if he was on SNL, he would have done an Oscar rundown and he would have sang that the exact same way. So that is absolutely brilliant. Sport, really quickly. I watched highlights. I watched a 1 minute, 2 minute packet highlight from the XFL. They're happy with attendance. The first week of XFL games averaged a little over 17,400. One of the teams plays in a 20,000 seat stadium and had like 18,000 people.
It's a much better kickoff to their new version of the XFL than their old version of the XFL.
I mean, that's still the average attendance of an NBA game, and they play, 42 home games a year. So playing 5 home games with that much. I will say, I've always hated the sideline interview end game, but they've taken it to like a whole new level. Like, it's one thing when they would go over, like they do in the NHL. They'll ask the coach something once a game, like in the first period, they'll interview on the bench a coach. It's like, yeah, this is in game. Kind of let them go.
You don't think the XFL would have send a sideline reporter into the huddle?
They do, well, that's pretty much like. So I was watching one of these clips, and the guy fumbled the ball. And he made a bad play on the bench right after the play, asking him what hey, what happened on that play? It's like. Really? It's like not even like halftime as he's walking off the field and stuff like that.
Immediately after coming off the
literally.
Field. Yeah.
And I was like, and they're trying to give you kind of, you're also in the replay booth. They had footage from inside the replay booth. There's the two, replay officials are talking over what they think, should have happened and how and all this stuff. And hey, a little interesting. I don't mind that.
I like the coin toss cam.
Yo, it's just
they put the camera on the head side.
Tiny little GoPro, and it's just but so that was it. And again,
do you know any of the team names? The Houston
Roughnecks, and I do know a couple, but yeah, after I dealt with them, I was like, I think I just like consciously like.
There's not like anything bad like the the Minnesota.
No, they
none of that stuff.
They don't have any. And now I'm going to want to form a team and just call them. So, actually, that reminded me one more thing of This Week in Awful. As part of the building the wall, they accidentally dug up an Indian burial ground this week, and it's like I'm not making that up.
You moved the headstones,
but you have the bodies. Real bodies, by the way, or real skeletons.
Yeah, whoa.
Unknow that. So the Red Sox have, I don't know if it's official, signed a manager for a 1-year contract a week after spring training. I mean, they are just like that whole scandal is.
It shook them.
It should, but it hit so late, and again, I want to say like Core did the right thing by stepping down, but it's like, yeah, he pled guilty to the charges and kept us from having to go to this big trial. But yeah, I mean, the whole team's screwed. I mean, there's got to be a wash. Like literally,
they're not exactly coming off a stellar season.
No, won the World Series, don't make the playoffs, a lot of infighting. Last week we talked, they got rid of their two best
Mookie
players,
Betts and
David Price. So, but
for I think a bag of magic beans.
Hey, those could really, I wish we got magic beans. We didn't. You got like a no-name player. It's like who's past the age where he would develop. It's not like they got a bunch of young prospects who could blossom into a beanstalk where there's a giant and
ho ho ho.
So,
what was Jolly Green Giant's little son's name?
Sprout?
Yes.
What do I win?
You win this box of chocolates that you bought yourself.
Have you played any games this week?
Yeah, you know what? I've been playing GoldenEye 007 for the Nintendo 64. So I can't remember if I beat it before, but I beat it again on mediocre agent level. and then now I'm trying to do 00 Agent because you know what? I'm going to live forever, and time is infinite, and I don't think about my own demise every waking moment and think how time is fleeting, and yeah, I'm wasting my life. I'm wasting my life playing these games. I did, however, pick up a sealed PlayStation 3 version of Red Dead Redemption. Even though I have the Xbox 360 version that I don't play, but it was sealed and it was $3.
You don't want to lose money.
I don't want to lose money on the deal, like you say. What are you playing, sir?
So I called you the other day.
You called me a really bad word.
I really did. You should have heard what I said after I hung up the phone. No, like so the games are on a minimal here. The little guy only can earn up to 4 hours a week. This week he got his 4 hours, but then worked really hard to get it down to 3.5. Had a meltdown. So I had a small window where I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to just sit down maybe for an hour and just do a speed run through Resident Evil 2. Put it in, and I called Joe. I'm like, hey, all my data's gone. You got any suggestions? And it was upsetting because it's just gone, and I don't know how it has all the trophies there. So if I have all the trophies, you can't earn those trophies unless you beat the game. And for a split second, I was like, well, that really sucks because I just wanted to do a speed run, go through the game, blow a bunch of stuff up. But I'm like, yeah, fuck it. And same thing, like this week, like last weekend, I was playing a mobile phone game, one of those Homescape Bejeweled games. And it was a team thing, and we were close to unlocking this chest. And I literally almost bought some coins. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm stuck here. I need to upgrade this. I'm like, no. And just to prove to myself, just to cut myself so I know I can still feel. I'm like, yeah, I'm not playing this game this week. I just moved it, to a file like the back thing of the phone. And I'm like, yeah. So I've been game free, except for the 10 minutes I tried to re-get the stuff back on Resident Evil 2. Mm-hmm. And I do, it's just don't have the time.
Right.
I wish I did. Like, if the world ended and I could still live in my Fallout cave and play those games, as long as my glasses didn't break, because there was time now.
That's one of my biggest fears is as I get older, losing my hearing, losing my vision. Just like, not even like gradually, like catastrophically.
Right.
Like something happens. Like, all I do is watch and listen. Like, I mean, people obviously want all 5 of their senses anyways, regardless of whether or not they waste their life watching television.
You can take smell.
Okay.
I can take smell.
Well, with smell goes taste. They're kind of one and the same.
They are.
You can hold your nose. If you hold your nose while you eat, you don't taste the food. Anyways, that's like one of my biggest fears. Like, what would happen if I just suddenly went blind or suddenly went deaf? Like, I'm reading about like Huey Lewis, losing most of his hearing. Guy was a musician,
right?
And he wasn't doing OxyContin, to my knowledge. So he was
that a side effect of Oxy?
Well, Rush Limbaugh, I don't know. He's going deaf, and you didn't know? Yeah,
no,
I don't know. He was a big
Rush.
Okay, good. Don't tell Mike that. Different Rush. Sorry. Yeah, it's I like watching. I like listening. And speaking of watching, I'm watching something new with the boys.
What are we watching?
Well, that's a family show.
Okay.
It really is. And it just started a couple of weeks ago. And if you can catch up with it on Hulu On Demand. It's a Fox show, and it comes on after The Masked Singer, which is like one of the biggest shows on television. I actually watched an episode of The Masked Singer.
Okay.
And it was like I got sucked into it because I thought the show that I was about to watch came on at 8, but it actually came on at 9. So we sat through Masked Singer, and I'm like, yeah, like we're trying to guess who it is. One of them, you know what the premise of The Masked Singer is?
I do.
One of them is definitely fucking Rob Gronkowski. He hasn't been revealed yet, but it's like a llama, or not a llama, but some like giraffe or something. And the person is singing Good Vibrations, and in the middle it's like, feel it. Come on. Like it's definitely dumb Gronk's voice. Anyways, I watched that with the boys. But then what I really was aiming to watch and we're kind of getting into is a new show hosted by Will Arnett, called Lego Masters.
You remember my son?
Yes.
Do you not know?
Oh,
do you
yes.
not assume that we would have? We haven't watched it yet, but it's on the DVD.
Right. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
Will Arnett.
Yeah. And it's Lego
Legos.
Masters. Yeah,
Right.
I know.
But it's good?
It's like a well done, and he's funny in it. I think some of his jokes and premises kind of get repetitive, but for the most part, it's still Will Arnett. They're still fun Lego puns. The personalities on the show and the contestants are varied, and the challenges are fun. There's only 2 episodes so far, but yeah, I think.
Is each episode encapsulated, or is
Yes.
so it's not a season long?
Oh no, it's a season-long competition show like the Great American Bake Off or something like that, where you have 8 pairs of contestants, and they all have their own backstories or whatever, and each episode is a challenge. So the first episode is they have to compile an amusement park, a ride for an amusement park. But the name of the amusement park is Dreamland or something like that. And they have to build a ride, and they have 15 hours to do so. And they all have their different stations, and, they have these 2 judges, a man and a woman, who are both like Lego experts or work with Lego, or they've designed, one of the woman, she heads the Lego Friends line of Lego, and the man does some other part of Lego. And, Will Arnett's there, and he just, bounces around, checks on people. He's like the Tim Gunn on Project Runway kind of thing, and it's fun. And then they it's a by the numbers Lego or competition show, but it's with Lego.
Somebody eliminated every week.
Not the first week. Spoiler: not the first week, because you got to get to know some of these fucks.
And when they get cut, they're like, "This isn't the end of my journey." You'll hear more of me. No, we won't.
Right.
This is it.
Right. Yeah. So somebody does get cut the second week, and it's fun, and the editing is what you'd expect of a dramatic competition show. There's there's are they going to make it in time? Kind of cliffhangers. Even Will Arnett.
Fun fact: they make it.
Yeah. Even Will Arnett's like, okay, I'm going to say something dramatic to the camera as we go to commercial.
That's great.
Right, that kind of thing. It's a
okay,
very,
a sense
very
of-
fourth wall. Yeah, so he leans into it. They had me on Mayim Bialik as a guest person, for, Blossom and Big Bang Theory.
Right.
She came on during the second episode. It's fun. So I'm watching that. You're watching that. What else are you watching?
I haven't watched nothing. Literally this week has been nothing.
Certainly not watching you. Wait there, man.
No. A little after the last couple days. Again, we had our good friend Renetsky to the middle of the week. Honestly, we watched a lot of Star Wars and Marvel stuff. She I don't know if she likes it or doesn't mind it, but
Did Disney Plus send a wellness check to your
right,
house?
exactly.
Are you guys okay? You just keep watching this.
So, speaking of Disney, holy crap. The ticket prices of Disney, because they've opened the Star Wars stuff now, when we went last summer, it was just the Millennium Falcon. And by saying just, the greatest moment of my life.
Oh,
and
God,
I've had 2 sons.
I wish I was there with you.
Dude, it was the best. But now there was another ride that wasn't open last summer yet that's now just opening, and the whole... Yeah.
What's that?
A Smuggler's Run.
Okay.
So now, no, that's what the Smuggler's Run is. The Millennium
I
Falcon
can't wait till
one.
they do pod racing.
What do you think a one-day pass at Disney is now?
For one person?
One person.
I'm so bad at this. I'm going to say $100.
$209.
$209.
$209.
I was thinking $150, and I was
not
like...
parking.
Yeah.
That's not parking. We were thinking about taking the boys to New York in a couple of weeks and seeing Wicked. Well, tickets for that are $150. I love that play, and we'd like them to see it. But I'm like, yeah.
How awesome is that play?
It's the best.
No, how awesome is that play?
Wicked? It's wicked awesome. Thank you, Joe. I'm just lost. No, because I'm still.
I was looking for love.
And all the wrong places. Yes. Why was let's start over. Why was there not a Valentine's Day episode of Star Wars? Because
They were looking for love in all the wrong places. Why didn't you open with that joke?
I don't know, because I'm
What's the
stupid.
matter
I used it before we did the
Yeah.
podcast, but not this, because I was so dialed in on what the farmer gave his wife for Valentine's Day. Hogs and kisses.
I don't know.
Hogs and kisses. But all the wrong places. Yeah. You know what? I'll have a feeling I'll have another chance to use that next year.
So Disney.
But when we went last summer, I want to say it was like 140, 150, but same thing but that was a park pass that was good for 14 hours that day, and it was magical and all this stuff. Yeah, to go to Wicked, it'd be 150. I'm like, okay, I've seen it. I don't have to go. The little guy may or may not be dialed in, so maybe if you and the older one want to go, I'd be fine with that. But 209 and without parking. So
And then you got to take food and all that other stuff into consideration.
I mean, for the four of us to go next summer would truly. I mean, that's about. I think it's like $300 is maybe it's around $300. I have to look for our Six Flag passes for the year, but we could go to any park in the country. You know what I mean? Literally, and the boys and I did. We went to like 14 of them going to and from LA last summer.
Follow-up question. How many Millennium Falcons can you visit at Six Flags?
None.
Okay.
None. But, and 2/3 of the Six Flags are,
have like 5.5 flags, really.
are dumpster fires. Actually,
one of them's a Confederate.
One of the attractions is a dumpster fire. They've taken over like a lot of failing parks and places and just kind of rebranded them. And
it's what we did up here.
Right.
Riverside Park was.
Exactly. The one in LA though is pretty great. It's pretty awesome. They have a Hall of Justice that is pretty. But then again, it has to be. I mean, you got one is Six Flags and Agawam competing with.
Right.
No, let's see. There's
a tree.
The nothing. Yeah. And so out there, you got Disney, Knott's Berry Farm, Universal. And so last year, we went to Universal, and for the four of us to go a 2-day pass for the four of us, it might have been like $500-$600. But to go to Disney for a day, you literally with parking, and even if you brought your own, you can't get out of there under a grand.
Yeah.
Crazy. But here's the thing. It doesn't fucking matter. It will be packed. I mean, that's how, they would, it's a supply and demand.
Yeah.
The park is only so big. You can only fit someone. And when we were going, once a week for like a decade, we always got there early. But I can't tell you how many times people were excited to see us leave got there at 8 a.m, leaving at 8 p.m. Park still open another 4 hours because there's a line outside waiting for people to leave because the fire marshal has said it's overcrowded. You can't send anybody in until some people leave.
Yeah, it's not like a Delta plane, for Christ's sake.
Right. Well done, my friend. So I randomly brought that up. So I watched Iron Man 1. Do you have a parenting tip?
Let's see. If you're gonna have kids, make sure you know how to parent. Jacques?
That's why I'm here. My little guys have been in the Play Frozen Junior last couple of weeks. The oldest one did 4 performances this week, so he did 9 performances, like 5 the weekend before, the 4, and he's loving it. And it's not my bag, baby. But they've really gotten into it. Like we were watching. I don't like him. I don't dislike him, but he's not my favorite. It's like if there's 10 late night hosts, who's the one who
James Corden.
James Corden. But he does this thing called, and my little guy has found the clips on YouTube, crosswalk.
Oh.
Crosswalk.
Karaoke.
No. Wait,
crosswalk musical number.
No. Crosswalk full-on plays. He had the entire cast of Frozen, and they have all these PAs, and when it's the crosswalk right out. It's it's in Hollywood. It's in downtown Hollywood at the CBS studios that
Yeah.
When the light turns red, they bring out all these props and they do a complete musical number in the 2 minutes between the light turning red with the actual cast members. Like they've had like I said, the entire cast of Frozen, the entire cast of something that like Hugh Jackman was in. I mean, real big play, and he's loving it. And the other day, when the wife and I were sitting in the living room, they came in dressed as characters from Frozen, and they did a number. So my parenting tip is, support your kids' stuff, like music theater, even if it's musical theater, even if it's
no matter how gay it is.
No matter, I'm a little offended that just because 95% of men in musical theater as a profession choose to bet for that team. Because remember we chose to be straight. No, but it is. It's one of those things. I'm not forcing. I can't get them into hockey. I'm not forcing them to love the New England Patriots because you can't force.
By the way, you just mentioned Hugh Jackman. A huge actor.
Huge.
A huge actor in the musical.
Right.
Yeah, he's a song and dance man.
Right. And people know. So not everybody in musical. There's Hugh Jackman. There's Neil Patrick Harris. There's lots of people out there who are straight as an arrow, just manly men of men.
Right.
Real
stick men.
It's just pussy on a stick. But yeah, support their dreams, no matter how much it makes your dreams die inside.
Homophobe.
No. Can I hate gay people without being labeled homophobic? Why are you always looking to label me, Joe? No, but
I'll let society do that.
So that's my parenting tip. Support their dreams, even if it kills yours.
Support their queer dreams. That's
let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
The dick never bothered me anyway. So that's it. I'll feel good about that. Which is
Don't you wish it was the 90s again, Jacques, where you could say certain things?
He says
man show stuff.
Where you could say like, what does gay mean? Got AIDS yet? Oh, so I was going to say we're not good people, but it's me. It's
What do you mean we? You got a mouse in your pocket?
You're holding on, as hardly as you can, but it's like.
Even though I brought up the gay stuff like 3 times during that last parenting tip, but I did it in a nice way. And I can do it because I'm gay.
Yeah, every chance you get.
Yes. So that's it. That's enough talking out of us. So thanks for listening, everybody. Oh man, this is the part of the podcast I hate the most: talking alone. So what are you up to? Oh wait, this isn't like a call-in show. I can't listen to you, listener, because you're listening to me talking. What? I don't. What the hell am I talking about? All right, I gotta go. Don't forget.
She's a truly lovely girl. She's all the stuff of the world. This her desperate yearning that keeps the fucker turning. So she's all this stuff of the world. He's all this stuff I heard. It's loud, he can't be sure. It's just the state she's in, or something that he did. Now he's all this stuff and the world. They're all this stuff and the world. They're all this stuff and the world. But they're easier that made each other bleed. Keep 'em all